here I am. Perfect. Hi, baby girl. Charming I've not given her enough love right now, so she wants a lot of my attention. I need to balance this up against something. I think that will do. That seems good. Okay. Let's take these. Alexa, play Ocean Waves. Okay, and I need just a reference to the time. I cannot see that far away, but we'll try. Hi, sweetheart. Hi, Ham. Hi, baby girl. Just stalling for a moment to see if anybody joins in before I begin. I love you. I love you. Yes. Oh. Why, hello there. Hi, sweetie. Let's see if I can see who you are. I see that there's somebody here, so you can always just make a comment, and then I can see the comment. Otherwise, it's hard for me to see who is here. That's when it goes across the screen. That's how I know, so I can say hi to you. So we'll begin in just a moment. Just preface this yoga session with the fact that I have just gotten home and have not taken my dog for a walk, so she is very in need of my attention. So it's going to be a fun class with me just working around the fun distractions of the home. But I think it's important to recognize that we're all human, and sometimes we don't have a perfect, quiet, undisturbed environment to practice yoga. So it is helpful to kind of work through some of those distractions at times and to kind of just humble ourselves at some of the challenges. And you know, she makes it a little bit tricky, but she's not really that tricky. So this is Charming. We'll call her Dr. Charming right there with me. So I hope that you enjoy, both of us, in your yoga practice. She likes to do her stretches in downward dog and upper dog, so we'll see if she joins in. Okay, so we're gonna begin in just a comfortable seated position, and maybe that's kneeling like this. Maybe, I think I have to slide back to be seen. Maybe it's sitting on your bottoms like so with the legs crossed. That could be the issue or the position. Hi, Lynn, nice to see you. Okay, so we're gonna have our hands resting on top of our laps, maybe with a toy. We're gonna go ahead and just close our eyes and start with some breath awareness. So I decided to play Ocean Waves in the background, and creating your breath just like the sound of ocean waves would be Ujjayi breath. So it's a little bit of throat constriction, and there's a lot of, stop it, it's her favorite toy. There's a lot of constriction in the throat, and so that creates a slower passageway for the air to enter and exit, and therefore we maximize how we recruit that oxygen. So we can create just a little constriction, and there's sound behind that breath. So see if you can take a few cycles. Just to set the tone for your practice this evening. And then we'll start to just open up our eyes into a soft gaze. And we're going to begin by working on our necks today, because I think there's been a lot of stress kind of building up around especially kind of this time of year. So we're going to work on some neck motion. So first, we're going to take our right ear towards our right shoulder, and I want you to keep your heart up and lifted when you do that, so that way we're not kind of collapsing as we go into this stretch. So a nice open and lifted heart, maybe even placing your hand on the top of your chest to help bring your chest up to your hand. And then we're going to drop that right ear down towards the right shoulder, and you'll feel a stretch beginning to occur on that left side of the neck. And if this stretch is not satisfying enough for you, then you can use the right arm and bring it all the way up and over to the side of the face and provide just a gentle overpressure. Sometimes what can happen is the shoulder on the left may rise up with you towards the head, and that takes away from the stretch. Charming of all toys. No, it's too loud. So we're gonna pull that arm down. I want you to feel that nice deep stretch on the side. You may want to sit on your hand, trying to help anchor that shoulder down towards the floor. Oh, this dog. And just send a few cycles of breath into the side of the neck. This is an area where we all tend to hold our tension. Wonderful. So keeping the hand in the same position, if you've decided to elevate it there, we're just going to change our gaze so that we go down towards the floor. We're looking at our underarm, and then the hand just slides to the back of the head. And we're going to still keep a nice broad open heart, and we're going to provide a little bit of a different angle stretch. So you'll feel it from the base of the neck, and it goes to the top of that shoulder blade. This is a fantastic stretch for any kind of neck tension. Really helps to take away some of those cranky areas. And you want to send your breath into those areas too, and keep trying to elongate the spine as you hold this position. Really feeling how every exhale helps coordinate a sensation of letting go. Then we're going to go ahead and just release that hand, or if you didn't have it there, that's okay. We're going to roll the head neck back to the center of our body, just dropping that chin down towards your chest. You can stay right here in this position if that feels comfortable for your neck. Still keep the heart center up and lifted, or you can add your hands to the back of the head for a little bit of an overstretch. And that you'll feel down into the mid-back area if you are tight in this muscle group. Send your beautiful breath to that space. We're going to go ahead and release the hands and let the head and neck come back upright to a nice neutral position. And then we're going to take the opposite side. So now the left ear comes down towards the left shoulder. You might feel like that right shoulder wants to come up with you, so maybe you sit on the hand in some way, or just kind of reach it down towards the floor so that you know you're getting a pure right side of neck stretch. And then that left hand, if you decide, if it's not enough of a stretch for you and you want more, you can take it to the side of the face and just gently allow for a deeper motion to occur in the neck. And if you are thinking about how your motion is compared to mine, I'll just put a little disclaimer out there that I have actually a very hypermobile neck. So the motion that you see on the screen is not necessarily the goal. I do have to stretch my neck to this level in order to feel and perceive muscular stretch, but in fact what I need is a little more stability. That's my personal body, but I don't want you to ever think that sometimes you have to compare to the instructor. It's important to let your feelings and sensations guide your stretching. So it's not about what it looks like, it's about what it feels like for you. So for me, this feels good, but your head and neck might be right here, and that's where you're feeling the stretch. And so whether you've raised the arm or not, we're gonna go ahead and switch gears, taking that head and neck, looking down towards the underarm and keeping the hand sliding on the back of the head, or not. You don't have to, because there's still a stretch available by just dropping that head in that position. You can keep reaching towards the floor, sitting on your hand with that left side so that you help to create an energetic pull with the shoulder. Really just taking our time with these stretches and helping to take away all the tension of our day. We can release the hand and start to roll the head and neck back towards the middle again. If you want to just hold the chin to the chest position, or if you want to add that counter pressure for another round, maybe this time it'll be a little bit more open, a little less discomfort. And then we'll release the hands and just kind of roll your spine all the way back up. You might feel some interesting sensations after some of that deep stretching, but as we continue, it will start to really even out. So those are some of our neck muscles as they come down into the shoulders and the shoulder blades. So now we're going to really use those shoulder blades to help enhance our comfort in the spine. So we're going to do some seated cat and cow. So you can take your hands on your lap. Again, you don't have to be kneeling the way that I am, but this may be comfortable for you. And you can also be sitting in a chair if you don't want this excessive knee bend, or even just kind of slouching as you sit with crossed legs. So we're going to start with taking an inhale, and you can hook your hands on your knees and just kind of encourage a little pull so that you can inhale and lift your chest up, looking up to the top corner of the room with your gaze and just opening that throat. You're also, you may not be able to see this as much, but you're also arching through your spine as you're lifting up. So you're really creating the back bend part. This is associated with our inhalation. So we're going to take inhale here. As we exhale, reverse that by rounding and actually collapsing your shoulders, bringing the chin to the chest and allowing for a stretch down the whole back side of the spine. Inhale, coming back forward, opening the chest. Exhale, rounding. Inhale, lifting. Even thinking about lifting tall. Exhale, round. Inhale, lift. Exhale, round. Let's take two more. Inhale, lift. Exhale, round. Last one, inhale, lift, and maybe just pause at the top of that inhale for a half of a moment. Exhale, release. Pausing for a half of a moment at the end of the exhale, and then returning back to just a nice neutral seat. Very good. We're going to take our shoulders and move the scapulas around. So we're going to shrug our shoulders all the way up towards our ears, which is most likely where they are. You probably didn't have that far to go. And then we're going to take them all the way back, all the way down, all the way forward, all the way up, back, down, forward, up, back, down. Let's take two more. Forward, up, back, down, forward, up, back, down. And we're just going to reverse that, coming back, up, forward, down, back, up, forward, down, back, up, forward, down. Last one. Back, up, forward, and down. You may even start to feel some heat and some warmth building up in those shoulders. That's a very good thing. And we're going to take our right arm out to the side into a T position. Cross that arm over your body, and then take the left arm and swoop it up. If you can get it deeper than the elbow, kind of up on that tricep, that will be helpful. We're going to pull that arm across the body, kind of lead with your palm towards your face so that you can feel a stretch all the way to the back side of that shoulder blade. You want to try and avoid that shrugging here, so you might encourage that shoulder to drop back down. Perhaps the angle of this arm will help to kind of tell you how aligned that is. It's a nice way to help facilitate your alignment. And so this is a fantastic stretch for the back of the shoulder blade. We all have quite a bit of tension here because it's very easy for us to hold on to our past. And the past is in the back of our body, and in the back of our chest, or at least in our chest, is our heart center. So behind our heart center would be our past. And we often hold things from our past, and it's hard sometimes to let those things go. So when we take an opportunity to release the tension in the musculature, it also helps us to release the energetics of whatever that associated body part is. So let's go ahead and release the left arm and open the right arm all the way out to the side, and then we're going to go backward just a little bit so that you can feel an active stretch through the chest. So from the sternum, we've got the pectorals that basically come all the way into the shoulder. So when we bring the arm back, not only are we squeezing behind the shoulder blade, but we're also getting a nice inhibition and relaxation through this chest. So we're just taking one arm at a time so we can really feel into that stretch. Do you see how my body's leaning that way? That would be compensation. So I'm gonna realign my spine so that I have a pure chest stretch here. And then we'll take that arm, swoop it forward, rise it all the way up towards the ceiling. And then you can take your left hand to the floor or to the edge of your chair, and we're just gonna side bend over towards the left. And if your right hip comes up with you, then try and anchor that hip down towards the floor, starting to really bring some of that flow into the body. Let's take one more inhale. And then exhale, release the arm all the way back alongside your torso. Now we'll take the left arm out into a T. I'll call this a T because this is a capital T, this is a Y, this is a W, this is an M, it's all sorts of fun things. So we'll take the left arm across the body and then swoop around with the right arm so that we pull that arm across our body. We can drop and encourage that shoulder to release. I've been in this position for a very long time, so now my toes are going a little numb. Maybe yours are too, you may have to change. I just flipped up onto the balls of my feet so that I have a little bit of a different sensation. It's one of those things that I don't realize it's gonna happen until it's too late. It's already happened, so maybe you too. We'll pull this arm across our body, really feeling the back of the heart on the left side now, really releasing anything from our past or breathing into the body where there might be some tension from our day, especially if we work at desks or drive a long time to get to work or just find ourselves in a seated position more often than not. Beautiful. Let's release the right arm. We're going to open the left arm all the way back out to the side so that we get that nice chest stretch. I got to change my feet again. And so we'll keep the trunk aligned. I'm going to keep reaching back. My husband makes music, sorry. Sweetie, can you please close the door, turn it down? Yeah. Thank you. Got a little bit of background beat, a little excitement for our yoga class. There we go. So feeling that nice open chest right in through here. And then we're going to take that arm and slide it down towards the floor. I'm going to pet my dog along the way because she's in my way, but that's okay. Rise the arm all the way up towards the ceiling, and then you can drop the right arm down and start to take the side bend stretch over towards the right, and then anchor that left hip down into the floor in whichever way you're seated to help create both reaching up and reaching down to elongate the left side body. Let's take that arm all the way back to our lap. Let's take a big inhale. Exhale through your mouth. Nicely done. Just checking in on the time. Oh, hello there. I see 3 of you, so that's fantastic. So we've done a lot with our upper body, so it's time to start doing some things with our lower body. I think, I don't want to yell, so I'm going to just bring the video down a little bit lower. Okay. So we're going to take a nice hip stretch, and I'm just going to align myself seated on the floor with one foot coming in contact with the thigh, and the other leg is kind of back like so. And this is like a modified pigeon stretch. So in previous weeks we have done pigeon, but this is just another way of performing this. So I'm just literally going to sit the spine up tall and then lean over the right leg in this case, and you'll already start to feel that pull going through the hip and the pelvis. You might feel it in the inner thigh area depending on where your body is a little tight. So you can just provide a nice gentle stretch as you bow down over that leg. And I already feel a stretch sensation here. You might come down to the floor onto your elbows. This is another deeper version of this stretch. Perhaps the arms stretch out all the way in front of you. These are all different options depending on what feels good for your body. There's not really a wrong in yoga, but maybe just change your angle a little bit so that you can feel different sensations in the pelvis if this isn't satisfying enough for you. So I'm kind of right in the center of my thigh, but if I move a little bit this way and sink down, I might feel something a little different, or moving out a little bit more towards the knee. None of that is right or wrong, it's just what works for you. So feel into this stretch and just send your breath to those hips and pelvis, just starting to open up the rotators of the pelvis. This is a fantastic muscle group to target when you're feeling any kind of tension in the lower back and in the legs, because it's kind of the connector point right in the pelvis. So this muscle will affect the buttocks, the lower back, and the legs. So it's also great for sciatic pain relief. So this is a fantastic stretch to help loosen up a lot of different body parts, which is why we're doing it first. So we've been here for a few cycles of breath. Let's go ahead and start to walk the hands back up alongside the torso, and we're just going to go ahead and take the other side. So one leg comes around forward, the other leg swirls around behind. The sole of the foot might come up in contact with that quadricep, and then you can take your hands to kind of brace the floor and start to flex forward over that leg. I'm already starting to feel some pulls. I'm kind of changing the angles of my pelvis so I can enhance this stretch for my body. And then perhaps taking yourself down to the forearms. And this is a very good stretch to even out. It is not uncommon to have asymmetries in these muscles, so one side may feel very different than the other. It's nothing to judge, but something to observe, and maybe you take a little bit more attention onto the side that's a little tighter so that we can become a little bit more level and even. These pulls in the body, it's important to have as much symmetry as possible, at least to work towards symmetry, even if you don't ever achieve perfection. The sacrum, which is the very base of our spine, so imagine you've got that spine coming down and then you've got that point. Well, the way my elbows are angled out from the point is kind of similar to the direction of the muscle that we're stretching that attaches to the sacrum. So if you can kind of imagine the base of the spine, and then there's a muscle that comes off to the side. So if one is a lot tighter than the other, it's going to pull and change the way that your pelvis is aligned. So let's go ahead and begin to walk ourselves out of this posture so that we can release some of that. And we've done a lot of stuff here in seated, so I think it's time to go ahead and stand up to do a couple more things with our legs before we wrap up for Shavasana. So we're gonna go ahead and just come onto hands and knees. You can take all of your toes, flip them under. You're gonna lean back, lift up off the knees, and come into a downward facing dog, tucking your chin towards your chest and really pushing into the floor to help find a little bit more peak of your pelvis. I wish I could coordinate getting my dog to do this at the same time. It would be so awesome, but she does do her upward dog and downward dog. It's really cute. And so here we're just gonna take our right leg and start to kind of slide it forward. The other leg can kind of float like so. And I know you can't see the whole top half of me, but that's okay. This is the more important part to be able to observe. So this posture is called pyramid, and I'm very well able to fold forward. You might only be about here, and so you might have your hands on the edge of a chair or a wall or blocks. Blocks would be great to bring the floor up to you. You can bend this right knee as much as you need in order to reach the floor, and then over time you can work to re-straighten it back out to help enhance this posture. I'm going to go ahead and tuck my chin towards my chest and just work the forehead closer towards the shin. And this is a really nice stretch for the back of the hamstring and the back body. We're really taking a good flexion pose here. So let's just use a few cycles of breath to really release deeply into our posture. Gosh, that feels so good. And we're just gonna take this right leg now and step it right back into downward facing dog and just kind of push into the floor for a moment. Just reset the spine. And as you come forward, we're just going to slide that left leg forward. And the legs really aren't that far apart for this posture, so you don't have to go too long or too narrow. Even you do want to have a little bit of separation between the 2 feet, about hip width apart. And again, you can be using a chair, you can be using an object. I've got a stability ball right here. That might be what you use to kind of lean up against. You can really use anything that's around your home, the edge of the couch. And then we're going to go ahead and take that same fold on this side, tucking the chin towards your chest and allowing for the forehead to come closer towards the shin. You can even bend the knee to help make contact with the two, and then over time push that knee backward so that you get a little bit of a deeper stretch on the back of the calf and the back of the hamstring. And depending on where your body is holding the tension, you might feel it in one of these areas a little bit more than the other, or you may even feel it tremendously through the spine. So just know that there are a lot of different perceptions based on your body type. Very nice. And then we're going to just take, instead of stepping back into downward dog, we're going to take the right leg and step it up into a fold. I'm just going to separate my feet really wide for this fold today, giving my belly just a little bit of space, and it might feel good for you too. It's a little bit more stable. And so we're just going to take this fold for a moment. And then I want you to start to drop through your buttocks and lift through your heart like in a squat. You can take your hands to the both of the tops of the thighs, drop the bottom, and then allow yourself to rise up nice and tall. I've got to move you again. There we go. Perfect. And we're almost done. So we're just going to take one more moment here in standing. So we're just going to take a nice soft Tadasana to realign our body in anatomical position. And so your palms, they might just be angled inward or maybe even a little bit more outward. Allow that chest to be nice and open and broad. Lift up through the tallness of your spine, lift up through the crown of your head. Allow the head and neck to kind of retract back so that it aligns over your shoulders. Your shoulders are relatively over your hips. We're not too forward, we're not too tucked. We're just kind of in that middle space where we're finding height and lifting through our ribs. A little bit of a hip width apart distance is just fine for this Tadasana. And close your eyes and just feel into the movements of your body. Feel how your breath leads to a slight sway, maybe forward and back or side to side, or little circles that might be happening. And there's a subtle response to those sways. You can feel your toes and your ankles changing the pressure of where they accept the weight. You can feel different musculature in your thighs helping to contribute to keep you in this position. We're going to take another nice cleansing inhale through the nose. Exhale through your mouth. Very nice. And now is an excellent time, if this was your last step of the day, if you wanted to take this right into bed with you, or if you wanted to set a timer, this would be a good time to set a timer for perhaps 5-10 minutes. The longer you have, I think the more you're going to just love your Shavasana practice. So please, if that's something that you would like to do, then I would recommend setting that timer. If you just want to take a brief moment with me, then you can do that as well, especially if you're planning on staying up a little bit later to perhaps watch the Deflex interview that's happening after this. So I have to get down on your level here. And so your Shavasana is whatever position you want it to be in. And again, Shavasana, Shava is corpse and asana is pose. So it's corpse pose in Sanskrit. And corpse pose is lying on our back with our legs extended and our arms alongside our body. Our shoulders are tucked underneath the trunk and our eyes are in a closed position. The palms can be facing upward and the toes can be flopping outward towards the side. Imagine that you have a book and you're opening it and opening it a little bit beyond the hip width apart. And so as you lay here in your final resting pose for Shavasana, allow yourself to fully embrace the sensations of your breath. And I want you to scan your body. We're going to start at the top of the head and work our way all the way down towards the toes. And so I'm just going to name the body parts, and I just want you to bring your attention and your awareness to that area and feel the breath and feel kind of a tingle and a swirl and maybe a vibration, and what we all call it is a little bit different. So feel whatever sensations arise and just allow them to be. So starting with the crown of your head, your forehead, your eyebrows, your cheekbones, your jaw, your lips, your neck and shoulders, your chest, your ribs, your stomach, your navel, your lower belly, your lower back, the sides of your hips and pelvis, the front of your thighs, the sides of your thighs, the back of your thighs, your inner thighs, your calves, your shins, your ankles, the arches of your feet, the tops of your feet, your big toe, your second toe, third toe, fourth toe, pinky toe. And then redirect your attention to the space just above the eyebrows in the center of your forehead. And focus on this space, looking for the light, the symbols, the sensation. Take a big, let it out. Om Shrim Mahalakshmiye Namaha. A mantra I will leave you with that means that the abundance of the heart is for you. We honor and salute the abundance of the heart and the goddess of abundance. So the light and honor in me respects and honors the light within you. One hand because I'm holding my phone, but namaste. Have a wonderful rest of your week, and I will hope to see you next Monday for more Yoga Foundations. Have a fabulous night's rest, fabulous week. Good night.